Today I'm gonna show you how to get started on your own ROM hacking journey so you too can enjoy these awesome homebrew Pokemon ROM hacks. There's a couple different methods on how to get these ROM hacks. You can dump your original game file, or have a copy of a Pokemon ROM, like Fire Red for instance, and patch the game using one of the many Poke Patchers out there, which will then patch the original game and turn it into a ROM hacked game. Confusing? Well, look, you're not alone and there's an easier method, but first, make sure to always prioritize safety. Always. Whenever downloading anything online, make it an absolute habit to first upload those files to these two free antivirus scanners, VirusTotal and Jotty, before doing anything else. Now, the easiest way to get started is to do the following. Open Google and type in Reddit and ROMs, and that's it. And it's mega easy to find all the information you'll need. Mega easy. And from there, all you need is an elementary level of reading comprehension, follow the links, click on the system for the games you're wanting to play, and you're done. However, I must emphasize, I don't support any form of piracy in any way, shape, or form. And if that's too complicated for you, there's an even easier way. Google Poke Harbor. You'll find a site that's chock full of information and resources, and in my opinion, it's the quickest way to source your ROMs. And word of caution, when you find a game that you actually want to try, please do not click on one of the 100 blinking lights that says download. Those are not the buttons you want to be clicking. Scroll all the way down to the end of the page and you'll see something like this, where it says support the creator and download. Usually it will be hosted under MediaFire or Mega. And with these amazing ROMs in your hands, you might be wondering, what's the best emulation system that I can play these ROM hacks on? Well, the best system is honestly any of them. Whether you have a Miu Mini Plus or a TrimUI Brick or Smart Pro or Steam Deck or I don't know, whatever you have, it's gonna work because most of these games are on Game Boy Advance or Game Boy Color. Apart from running your own overlays or filters, these games are pretty easy to run. I think the real question is, which ROM hacks should you play first? Because there are a ton. I mean a ton. And today we're only gonna be looking at games that are completed, because to me, spending hours in a game only to find out that you can't complete the story is a little bit disappointing. So let's go ahead and get started. Here are the top 5 Pokemon ROM hacks I think everybody should try at least once. In first place is Pokémon Unbound. I do a series on this and I've been making my way through the amazing adventure of Pokémon Unbound. What really sets Unbound apart is that it has a unique storyline that gives this adventure a breath of fresh air and originality. Unbound is so polished, to me, it feels like it was made as an official offshoot of the Pokémon franchise, so if you're gonna start anywhere with Pokémon ROM hacks, I'd easily suggest Unbound. You can change the difficulty settings, there's amazing weather effects, and Unbound is hailed as one of the most customizable Pokémon games ever made. Set in the vibrant Boreas region, the game unfolds a unique narrative involving a post-war and a looming threat of the shadows. With over 80 missions and a revamped gameplay formula, Unbound offers a fresh and thrilling Pokemon experience, so this is a highly recommend from me. Next up is Pokemon Black and White 3 Genesis on the Game Boy Color. Black and White 3 is kind of a sequel to Black and White 2, only reimagined in a Game Boy Color 8-bit aesthetic that is more than a welcome take, as I'm a huge fan of Pokemon Crystal. It takes place in the Unova region around 5 years after the events of Black and White 2. In this game, you play as a trainer who is destined to thwart some evil plans of a mysterious group called Team Plasma, a terror group that was supposedly disbanded years ago. With 253 Pokemon available, selected from the first 5 generations, 255 moves, custom music, Pokemon sound effects, and upgraded visuals not seen in the official games, and it's safe to say we'll never see a Black and White 3, especially one that's released for the Game Boy Color, which is why I think Pokemon Black and White 3 Genesis is a must-play. And next is Pokemon Prism. Prism is built off of Pokemon Crystal. It transforms a familiar world into something wildly ambitious. It's a new region, there's new mechanics. You're even able to customize your character further than what was available on the original game. The game starts off with you deep in the forest enjoying a cozy bonfire. You go off to find some firewood when a landslide separates you from your mom, and from there you find yourself in a cave and you eventually meet your first Pokemon. It's a great introduction as it doesn't follow the original original formula, and it features a very deep and engaging storyline. There's new types of Pokemon like gas and sound types, and it even lets certain Pokemon change depending on how you raise them. Be warned, this game can be a bit grindy and there are some annoying puzzles, but regardless, if you're a fan of these older titles that reside on the Game Boy Color, you're probably gonna love Prism. Next up is Pokemon Big Blue. Now, this Pokemon ROM hack is vastly different from the other ones I've mentioned. This is a perfect game for anybody who had wished that Pokemon was a little bit more open world and non-linear. When you start the game, in the beginning, there's a menu asking you which Pokemon you'd like to start off with, and there are 42 to choose from. After that, you get to choose what town you want to start in, and from there, you're just dropped into whatever town you chose, and your mission is now to defeat all the gyms and catch all the Pokemon. There's no guides, just you, your starter, and the open world of regions of Kanto, Johto, and Hoenn. This is a perfect ROM hack for those of you who just want to go out and explore, and it really gave me this sense of adventure as if I was living my own Pokemon anime storyline, as it's up to you to plan where you want to go, what do you want to do, and which gyms would you like to tackle first. And while you're forging your own path, there are a ton of fun side quests from the many NPCs. Not to mention, Pokemon Big Blue has some of the most amazing and polished graphics seen, which really makes it feel like an upgraded experience that sets it apart from the other ROM hacks I've mentioned. So if you're someone who's looking for something that's vastly different, that's open world, and has some of the most polished graphics, I highly suggest starting Pokemon Big Blue. Now last but not least, and please, this last ROM hack is probably not for everyone, and I really do mean that, because it's crude and it's filled with a ton of dark humor, if you can even call it that. But nonetheless, it's very different than every single ROM hack I've played, and because of that, I think it's worth at least one playthrough, which will either give you a chuckle or make you seething with rage from its extremely offensive content. Now, this ROM hack is called Pokémon Clover, and there's a reason why they called it that. As I said, be warned, if you're a bit of a softie and you're easily offended, just steer clear from this one, but for those of you who do enjoy the darker side of humor, Pokémon Clover will definitely scratch that itch. But again, be warned, this game is it's very offensive, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious, but again, you might not be that type of person, alright? And get ready, because you're gonna have absolutely no idea what Pokemon does what. I mean, this game really takes a left turn in the Pokemon genre, and it really feels like something you might have seen on a website called EF. So those are my top 5 picks if you want to get started on ROM hacks, and again, I love these ROM hacks. It really gives Pokemon a new breath of life, which in my opinion is well needed. And before you go, somebody sent a very creepy package to my mailbox, and when I opened up that package, what I found was very disturbing. I cover all of that in this video coming up right now.